the police have identified a suspect in connection with a deadly shooting inside a North Philly barber shop. 44-year-old Armand Hilton is wanted for murder, robbery, and related charges. Police say he shot and killed Natifa Wade inside a barber shop on Lehigh Avenue on Saturday afternoon. Investigators say Hilton opened fire inside the barber shop, hitting Wade in her torso and head. She died at the scene. Hilton is considered armed and dangerous.
Show your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, so if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, this is a very controversial case between a Philadelphia man and woman who were once a couple that got married, split, and then things turned fatal. Now, if you're from Philly, you're definitely familiar with this story because when it first happened, it sent shockwaves through the city. Some people were very surprised, and others say that they saw it coming due to the man and who he was, on top of the threats he made towards his ex-wife after she moved on and married another man. Now, the controversial part is what makes this story interesting, because some people feel that she was wrong and it led to her demise, but others feel like myself that no matter what she did, she didn't deserve to lose her life. And I agree. No matter what someone does, you can't play God and take somebody's life. You leave whatever it is up to God himself. But I must say that this is actually a very interesting story when you find out the backstory towards everything. I've been meaning to do this story for a long time, but never really got around to it. But I think there will be a lot of opinions about this story, some agreeable and some not too agreeable. However, it is very unfortunate being that the victim at hand leaves behind 3 kids, and as far as the suspect, who was the father to one of her children, he is now on the run and still haven't been caught by police, according to reports. So we're going to get into the story of Tiffany Wade, but before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm and bring some awareness to the situation as a successful entrepreneur lost her life at the hands of a man. Let's get into it. As y'all witnessed from the intro, 40-year-old Tiffany Wade, aka Latifah, from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, had very expensive taste and showed it frequently by purchasing luxury items. She worked hard and definitely enjoyed the fruits of her labor as she flaunted Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Christian Dior, and made sure her kids was just as fly as she was. Tiff was a mother of 3 with 2 daughters and 1 son, and was also a devoted Muslim, as she also taught others the importance of Islam as well as how to read, write, and speak it. Tiff always been the definition of a female hustler, having the brains to match, as she graduated being the youngest nurse in her class to graduate from Methodist Hospital Nursing School, making her a young registered nurse at the early age of just 20 years old. This was a big deal because it's very rare for someone to become an RN at such a young age. She also had her MSN, which is a Master of Science in Nursing, that allowed her to pursue a business in home healthcare. Tiff's ambition allowed her to start a few businesses, stemming from her Kisses brand, where she had Kisses Home Care, where she helped elderly patients at home in the Philadelphia area. Then she had another business known as Hemply Kiss, providing legal hemp and CBD. Then another business called Kisses or More Extensions, where she sold hair extensions for women. And then there was another business called Seasoned Kisses, where she sold food seasonings for foods such as salads, meats, and vegetables. She even flipped houses and rented out space for women to operate their salon duty. It's safe to say that Tiffany lived the life, but even though she played hard, she worked even harder to have the things that she desired. Tiff will meet a man by the name of Armand Hilton, better known as Speedy to the streets. Speedy was the opposite of Tiff, as he was always involved in the streets and had a criminal background that consisted of kidnapping charges for trying to hold a young teen for ransom money. In March of 2002, a 17-year-old boy was kidnapped outside a store in Olney and held overnight for ransom. It all started when 3 men followed the teenager from his house to a store in the 4900 block of Marvine Street and waited for him to come out at around 6 p.m. 3 men would jump out of a car and force the kid to confirm his identity at gunpoint and then force him into the car. Around 6:45 p.m., the 3 suspects called the kid's father and instructed him to put $50,000 in the plastic bag and drop it in the garbage can at 15th and Wingo Hawkins Streets in the Nicetown section of the city. Apparently, the suspects was aware of the family receiving a $100,000 legal settlement and came up with the idea to demand half of the money. They threatened to kill the 17-year-old if they didn't get the money, but told his father that they'll release him once the cash is received. The father immediately called the police. Detectives came up with a plan to give the father a fake bag disguised as cash, and they would stake out the address given by the suspect to watch as the father made the drop. And just like they thought, a car would arrive at the location circling the block for a half an hour before trying to receive the decoy bag. As they went to get the phony bag of money, they were shortly arrested after a short pursuit on foot by detectives. 2 men had weapons, and young Speedy, who was only 21 at the time, will receive charges stemming from kidnapping, robbery, conspiracy, and aggravated assault. The 3 men suspects never told where the teenager was, but luckily, the teenager who had his mouth taped and hands tied managed to somehow get his hands free and escape through a window out of the house he was being held in on the 5200 block of Larchwood Street. He flagged down a patrolling officer and was able to safely return back to his father around 4:50 a.m. Tiff and Speedy met after he was released from prison. Everything seemed fine between the two, as the way all couples start off. As time went on, her and Speedy would kick things up a notch as they had a child together, which was Tiff's 3rd child and her youngest, and her and Speedy would go on and get married. Sources say Speedy came across a large lump sum of money. It hasn't been reported how he came across it, but he wanted to invest his money in hopes of flipping it to make more money. Speedy would go on to invest his money into real estate and acquire a couple properties as his investment. As we described earlier, Speedy had a very lengthy criminal history involving felonies, so he couldn't just legally invest his money using his name only, as it would raise suspicion by law enforcement. So to avoid any legal issues, Speedy put everything in Tiff's name, and being that they were married, it worked out perfectly, being that Tiff was his wife and he felt that he could trust her. To make everything clear, it was Speedy's money that invested into the properties, but the properties technically belonged to Tiffany legally on paper, being that her name was put on those properties. It's equivalent to renting an apartment with a significant other, and the man is the one paying the rent, but his name isn't on the lease. Although the man is paying the rent, the apartment technically only belongs to the woman because her name is the name that the lease is assigned to. But once again, Speedy trusted Tiff, so it was never a doubt in his mind about putting the properties in Tiff's name. But unfortunately, things would start to go downhill as soon as Speedy would face legal troubles in his life once again. Speedy was arrested again and sent to jail. I'm assuming that whatever he was put in jail for is where he would acquire that large lump sum of money from that he had to invest in those properties. However, when Speedy was arrested, Tiffany would break up with him and also file for divorce. No one knows why Tiff would divorce Speedy while he was incarcerated, but I think we can all agree that that's a time when you need your significant other the most, especially your wife. But you can't force anyone to stay with you if they don't want to be with you. So if Tiff wanted a divorce, then it just is what it is. But after Tiffany got a divorce, she shortly got into another relationship with another man and got married once again. Keep in mind that although Tiffany divorced Speedy, the properties that Speedy used Tiff to invest in was still in her name. When Speedy got word that Tiffany had a new man and was flaunting him around, he would call home from jail demanding that Tiffany gives him his properties by taking her name off it and putting his name on them instead. Tiff decided not to do it for whatever reason and proceeded to live her life the best way that she knows how. Lavish, happy, and celebrating her success, and she frequently posted to her Instagram showing off her luxury lifestyle. At this time, she would also post her new man, and they went out together, took trips, and looked like the happy couple that Speedy and Tiffany once was. Having to watch Tiff live it up and flaunt her new boo around, Speedy became jealous. In phone recordings and text messages posted by a media platform by the name of Philly Death Row, Speedy would threaten Tiffany and her new man and send her a bunch of frightening text messages. Tiffany recorded him and took screenshots for her safety and also started carrying a firearm as she began to feel like her life was in danger. Check this out.
About you, I snap on it because I look at you different. If you worry about my baby mom, I don't give it. Yo, if you ever was to talk to nigga, she'll tell you that.
I would never talk to that bitch. She ain't on my level. She ain't nothing to me, and she never been in my circle. She never been around me. I didn't know that.
And you've been bringing it up. So now I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm never gonna touch you again. I'm never physically gonna hurt you. You mad? Blowing this shit off on everything I love. I'm going back to prison on everything. Man, I don't give a about that. I told you stop throwing it in my face. If this is what you want to do, go in and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. All right. I just left you 2 months ago. Stop throwing it in my face before I kill you. This is what I'm telling you because that's what my mind said. I will go there. Us to be together, like I really do. Really do. I miss the whole everything.
On October 7, 2023, Tiffany would take her son to the barbershop on the 2500 block of West Lehigh Avenue. A suspect would enter the barbershop around 1:45 p.m., approach Tiffany and shoot her in the head and torso. He would run out after striking Tiff, and witnesses would say that the suspect robbed Tiffany of her belongings before firing at her. Upon investigations, police would trace the attack back to the father of her son and ex-husband, Armand Speedy Hilton. Police will also conclude that Tiffany was being tracked unknowingly, which is how he got her location. When medics arrived on the scene around 2:04 p.m., Latifah was pronounced deceased on the scene. As for Speedy, he's still on the run and have yet to be caught by authorities, and there's a $20,000 reward for any information leading to his arrest. Now keep in mind, the child that was taken to the barbershop by Tiff was the same child that her and Speedy shared together. So can you imagine how it must have felt as that child watched his own mother lose her life right in front of his face, and then by his own father? Crazy. Now here's the controversial part of everything, because there's a lot of mixed emotions about who was right and who was wrong in this situation. Also, I think judging from a lot of the comments I've seen on social media, a lot of people who may have been a little salty about Tiff's lifestyle went against her because they felt she was too flashy and arrogant. But however you feel, once again, I don't think anything can make you go as far as wishing death on someone just for living their life how they want to live it. Now the controversy part comes in where people feel that Tiff should have just gave Speedy his properties back and left him in the past if she really wanted nothing to do with him. She had plenty of her own businesses and even flipped properties herself. So why does she need his properties? And to be 100% honest with y'all, at first, that was my take on it as well, to a certain extent. One of the reasons is because I think Speedy may have felt he lost it all, and having to see someone living lavish and feeling like they took everything you had from you, that's enough to make somebody crash out. Maybe Speedy felt like he didn't have nothing to lose, so it wouldn't matter if he took a life and then he had to go to jail or run away forever, being that he don't have anything to live for in the first place. But once again, it's never appropriate to play God and think it's okay to take somebody's life. Now, I've also seen somewhere else where someone stated that maybe she didn't give him back his properties because while he was incarcerated, she had to spend her money on maintaining the properties and running them as well. So she had a right to a percentage of the properties, which that is a good point too, right? So once again, this is a very controversial topic, which is why I want to hear from y'all. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. But aside from that, rest in peace to Tiffany, Latifah Wade. My condolences go out to her family. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.